Style or the Modern Language Association, or Chicago Author Date Style. In social sciences, you have the American Psychological Association or APA, as well as Harvard's reference citation style used especially by students. In science, if you're in engineering, way of finding out which citation style that should be used for you is, of course, as I've said before, looking for the journal's guidelines or your university's guidelines when you're writing your thesis. So, citation styles, you have numerical referencing. So, such referencing is extensively used in the field of medicine and sciences. And generally, when an item is cited, the number used throughout is the same as it is in the first mention, and this essentially prevents duplicate additions. Style guides may recommend using curved parentheses for numbers or superscripting them. As you can see in this particular image, it is superscripted. Example of style guides which use this kind of referencing include the Vancouver style. You have the American the American Chemical Society. You have the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Right. Then you have the Harvard referencing. As the name suggests, in this style, you have the author's last name and the date which follows it. Okay. And you can see how it is written over here. You have Smith 2003, who essentially did this previous piece of research or provided advice to authors and co-authors. The reference list is typically organized in an alphabetical order as per the author's last names. Examples of style guides which use Harvard referencing include MLA, Chicago Author Date Style, and of course APA. So this is most commonly used in humanities as well as social sciences in comparison to the numerical style commonly used in biological sciences. Endnotes or footnotes. So what are endnotes and footnotes? Endnotes, as the name suggests, appear at the end of the document, whereas footnotes appear at the end of the page or the bottom of the page or a table. Footnotes and endnotes are numbered consecutively throughout the manuscript, and endnotes are most commonly used in the reference section, while footnotes you most commonly find in books as well. Okay, manuscripts. So when you're writing when you're writing papers, you need to refer to the journal's guidelines to find an appropriate style for the footnotes and endnotes, as these styles as we've discussed in the previous section. So if you're if you're writing a paper and if you are going to cite somebody, then you can, this can be included in the main text of your article, either in the beginning of the sentence. So for example, Zizek 2015 argues that, or according to Zizek 2015, or in the most recent book, Zizek 2015, and so on. So this is at the beginning of the sentence. Similarly, you can also include the reference or the citation at the end of the sentence. So, as reported by Davis 2015, etc. So, it can be placed at the beginning as well or at the end, depending on how you're writing that particular sentence. Also, if you are trying to include the citation in the main text, you can use the following verbs: investigated, found, reported, suggested, proposed, and so on. We will be sharing a copy of today's webinar and the recording with you after today's session as well. So you can note down these terms after the webinar as well. So if you're not able to take notes right now, don't worry about it. The recording will be shared with you. Self-citation. Okay, so self-citation, I have touched upon this topic previously. So self-citation occurs when authors cite their own work. Nowadays, majority of industry players have sophisticated tools to identify self-citation. So it is absolutely useless doing so. So I think one should be very, if you are trying to do excessive self-citation, it will be caught. So, you will not be able to get away with it at all. So it could be also, but however, it's not necessary that self-citation would be citing your own previous work. Sometimes journals ask them to also cite other papers published in the same journal in order to increase the chance of acceptance as well. So that is something which should not be done. It might also be citing a co-author, or it might also be publisher specific. Okay? You can only cite your previous work if your current study is a continuation of your previous study, if you're building a coherent piece of work, as in if I was working on a previous, as I said, on a specific medicine which was used to treat a certain condition, and I'm trying to investigate all the aspects around it, then I can cite my previous work. Again, if I'm using research that I've done in my previous work, it has to be paraphrased and the citation should be provided. And the ratio of the number of self-sites to external ones is comparable to others in the field. I mean, it will be very difficult to find this, but however, as I said, if there are about 25 citations at the end of your document in your reference list, 20 of those should not be your own. Okay, it should only be, you should only give rightful credit to your own work or your own previous work when it is required and not unnecessarily. Okay, it's highly unlikely that you did all the background work for your research as well. Somebody else must have done it. So in terms of reference management tools, there are so many out there. The reference management programs, however, are extremely useful because they allow construction and collection of citations and the associated references. They also allow storage of information about these references. So sometimes they also help you to store the metadata or as shown as reference data, as well as links to the online content. If you're talking about EndNote and so on, you can create your own library and you can store this library and you can link this library to different pieces or different documents that you're going to write. So every time you start writing a new document, it is not necessary to make a fresh library. You can just connect to the same library or import references from that particular library to a new library. So it is very useful to use these references. Many of them also work with software programs. So most of them, say your Word, your Microsoft Word will have a plugin for say EndNote or your Mendeley. So they link to your writing softwares as well, and they work offline in most cases if you have a free version of them. Okay. Some of them might also work in your language of choice, and they might allow you to also select from a wide range of citation styles depending on what's the citation style that is fit for your discipline and your journal of choice. So as part of today's talk, because I think we are overrunning as well, so I think we'll just be discussing two. The first one is EndNote. I think this is it's a premium tool. I think this is something I use, so it was great. It is a highly sophisticated reference manager that works both online and offline. The online version or the web version is free, but if you're working with a publisher or if you're working with a university, etc., most institutions tend to buy their own copy. So if you have a copy of the offline version, it is extremely useful. It can create bibliographies of more than 6,000 in over 6,000 different styles. It allows you to import fairly complete and accurate metadata. As I said, if you're using and abstracting and indexing services, say like PubMed, it will allow you to import that particular citation directly to your citation manager. So that's always useful. It integrates well with Microsoft Word. So that is useful because that is what is widely used. Mendeley is another tool. It's a freemium tool, so you have a free basic tool as well. And you also have a premium tool. In addition to being a very good reference manager, it also has several other features such as Mendeley research groups, which help you share research, and it also you have Mendeley stats, which help you gauge, how well your work is doing online and the social media recognition that it has got. Also, if you want to see, there is an easy to understand YouTube video of Mendeley. Again, we will share the recording of today's webinar with you, so you can go to this link and look it up. Right, so we have discussed different aspects of their citations and the references. We have discussed as to why it is important to cite, what you should cite, how many citations or references to provide. We have discussed different citation styles. We have talked about plagiarism and how you can avoid it. We have talked about a few reference management systems and how it is self-citation should be put or kept to the minimum. Okay, so if a paper is written well and it is accepted for publication, the next step that the author should do is send it to the people you cited in the paper. So if you've written or if you've built on somebody else's work, tell them that you took their research or you took their work in a different direction, and it's always interesting to them. And finally, you can also send it to all your peers as well as your colleagues and family, whoever contributed to your work or your research. And this is an excellent way of promoting your research and building valuable connections, and of course increase the chances of being cited. Okay, thank you very much for being extremely patient and listening to me. As I've said before, A, the recording will be shared with you after this webinar, and B, if you have any questions, you can either put it in the question and answer box over here, or we'll also share with you a link to our question and answer forum on the NIGO Academy's website. So if you have any queries to today's webinar or any questions regarding publishing or academic writing, please get in touch with us and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Дорогие коллеги, спасибо вам большое за участие в сегодняшнем вебинаре. Мы надеемся, что было полезно и интересно. Как сказала моя коллега Дурга, мы обязательно поделимся с вами записью вебинара в течение нескольких дней и также ссылкой, где вы сможете оставить свои вопросы по поводу вебинара. Поэтому пишите. И также, как я уже сказала, если есть вопросы по сервисам Inago, вы можете написать мне на почту raina@inago.com. И мы надеемся, что вы с пользой провели сегодня время. Спасибо вам большое. Всего доброго.
Спасибо. До свидания.